I'm Jenny Hollingworth is my surname, and I'm one half of the band Let's Eat Grandma. I've been in that band about 12 years and recently made my first solo record with Steph Marziano, who is here with us today. And yeah, we're going to talk a bit about that.
Hey Jenny. My name's Steph Marziano, and I'm a record producer and songwriter. And I'm really excited to be here to talk to Jenny about, I'm biased, but I think it's an amazing record we made and talk all about the process and what it was like working together.
So Steph and I met. Apparently, we met years ago at a party, but I don't remember this. I don't know whether I was quite intoxicated or not.
Like,
Um,
I'm absolutely fuming that you don't remember meeting me. No, I was I was pretty drunk too, but it was at I want to say it was the 2018 Transgressive Christmas party
yeah, I
that
don't.
we
I
met.
think I might have been a little bit out of it during that time, but
That's fair. I think I was as well, hence the courage to come up to you and Rosa and talk to you.
oh, that's yeah. I mean, you're probably in my within my subconscious as that's so bad. I don't remember anything. But how we met in terms of this record, because that must have been what, like years ago
It's
now.
actually it's coming up to 2 years to the day. I was
Mm,
looking at the diary the other day, so it's
yeah. Yeah,
pretty special.
it's funny talking about it now. We basically met because I guess I'd started making some solo material in 2023 and kind of the summer. And Tim, who's like at Transgressive, is kind of like my A&R slash manager. He's a lot of different things. Um, we got offered to do, me and Rosa got offered to do this like Bad Omens remix thing, and I think Rosa was busy at the time, so um, I was like, yeah, sure, I'd be down to do it. And then Tim was like, oh, I know someone who would be really cool to work with on it. Um, and I think he knows that I'm like really nervous about new people. So I think he was like subtly like setting us up to work together because he thought we'd get on. And of
He
course we did.
definitely was
Yeah.
because he called me and he asked me to originally like engineer your vocal, and I don't engineer anymore. So I was at the time I was really busy, and I was like, "Oh, Tim, I'll try and see if I can fit in." And then he was like, "No, no, no, this is my long plays. Like, I think you and Jenny could make an amazing solo record together, and you just have to like get to know each other based on this one track." And he's always right, that guy, because
Yeah, he is.
that was it. I don't, you know what? Now that I put it on record, he's gonna have video footage of me saying he's always right, but he really like he saw the vision so much more, I guess, yeah, so much sooner than the both of us did of
Yeah,
us working together.
he's unfortunately often right, but well, not unfortunately. Luckily, he is often
Yeah.
right. Um, yeah, it was, and when we did that song together, we just had so much fun working together. We just like have real. I just feel like we just get on well, and we obviously have like a strong friendship that's developed. But even immediately we clicked, and
Yeah.
also like we both just like a lot of the same music.
Yeah. And well, I think that Bad Omens track was like interesting because it was emo, but they were making it like kind of pop, and then that was really fun for us.
Yeah.
And it kind of showed our strengths that then when we went to make a record together, it was like, oh my God, we just had so much fun turning that emo song into a pop song. Like, let's do that for an album in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Yeah, Steph and I were kind of talking about the record and about the fact that um like Tim kept saying, and also everyone kept saying, like, Jenny, you're like so emo, like all of your songs are like so emo. And because I don't like necessarily listen to that much emo as a genre, I was like, what do you mean? But like Steph has so many actual like emo musical touch points, that the combination of my like quite emotionally dramatic songwriting with like those kind of musical touch points, we've just like made a really like emo record. Yeah.
Yeah, like Jenny, I think you're the most emo person without realizing they're emo, and that's what I love about you. Like like your musical influence is so emo, but you don't necessarily like listen to emo music. Like effectively you were emo before it was cool to be emo. Um, Whereas
Yeah.
like I think the emo music I grew up listening to was like emo, like the thing of emo music, and you're like you showed me the stuff that was pre that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like sort of yeah, the stuff like running up to emo.
Yeah, that kind of inspired it. And then
Mm.
when we were like doing loads of production stuff, I'd show you like classic emo tracks, and you'd be like, "Oh, that is really like." But it was such a cool way of like coming to it, I think. And then I think there were so many times where it was like in the studio, me being like, "No, Jenny, you are emo."
I've accepted it now. I love
Yeah,
it.
you're one of
My
us.
heart.
One of
Yeah.
us. I think so much of my job as a producer, the first day is always like getting an artist to feel comfortable. And it's like slowly convincing an artist that it's a really vulnerable thing showing your own work to someone. And it's slowly convincing them that I'm not going to ruin it. I'm a safe pair of hands, and they're also going to enjoy the experience and feel really validated, and they're going to have fun. And so I think like the first day doing that Bad Omens track was just like really like kind of convincing Jenny that whatever we do next could be great if it's like this much fun here. And I think that's like that just like kind of slowly creeps into more and more. And I think throughout the like day as Jenny was having more and more fun, I guess you'd kind of hint about solo stuff. You're like, oh, I've started writing something, and like you were sort of, and secretly I already knew because Tim had told me, but you'd kind of put a little bit more info out, and then like after that song, I think you'd send me a couple things. Like it was like kind of like in phases, if that makes sense.
I feel like you and Tim let me think it was my idea. Like
That's the secret to being a music producer.
yeah, like kind of just make like like drop all these like put me in the right situations, and then like I'd be like, hang on, Steph's really great. Like Steph could be the one, Which like I think, to be honest, by the time, because we recorded this record kind of in batches of songs, so we started in like April 2024, I think, and then we finished. I think we finished in maybe like I don't think we finished in like February of this year, but then we kind of ended up
Yeah.
recording another song afterwards, which
Yeah.
was groundskeeping. Like I was like, I don't like this song to Tim. I was like, it's over, and then I was like, actually it's quite good. So, but
Um,
we did our first batch like back in April, and I think by that point I was kind of like, well, it was like it was a bit in the deep end because I was like, oh, we've never recorded any of um my songs before, and we're going in and recording three off. But I also just like um I don't know. I just had a very good feeling about it.
mhm. Yeah. Like normally I go into these kind of things with a little bit of like, you never know how it's going to work out. It might be that we had a great first track, but then, sometimes the creative process doesn't work. But for whatever reason, Jenny, with you, I think I just always knew we were going to make the whole album together. Like it
Yeah.
was like kind of like really instant. And the first song we did was Good Intentions, right?
Yeah.
And that just went like I just my memories of that song are like us just like constantly high-fiving when we did something really I just being like, this is amazing, and like jumping up and down. And like I don't know, normally there's self-doubt and stuff that comes in to the studio, and like at no point did I have any self-doubt that we weren't going to keep working together. It was
hmm
like, great, let's just do the whole record. And like it kind of I don't know if there was ever even an official let's do the record together. I just kept going.
Yeah, I think we just had so much fun. Like we kept being like because of the fact that I was like really obsessed with Troye Sivan's Got Me Started while we were recording that song, we kept just being like, and this is like when we hadn't even met each other. We'd met once before. We were like well,
Mm.
twice apparently. Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
remember. But but being like, oh, is that like, can we feel Troye Sivan in the room? Like
Yeah, we
that.
kept saying the ghost of Troye Sivan was here.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it was just a lot of fun, and also just like I think also we both have like different strengths and approaches to making music, and I think they really complement each
Definitely.
other. Um, like we had these nicknames for us two and Jacob, who like played so much, like all the instruments on the record, basically. Well, not all of them, but like most
Most,
of
yeah.
them. Where like Steph, you called yourself the shark,
Yeah.
um, because Steph's like I mean, how would you describe? I'd say like you're the boss of the studio. You know
It's
how
my,
to get the job done. Get the job done.
yeah.
And like get me and Jacob into gear, and also like you know what needs to be cut and highlighted to bring out the best of the songs.
Yeah. And then I felt you were the dolphin, but which we'll go into why dolphins were a big part of the record, but you were the star of the show and you had to be front and center of it all. And then Jacob was the whale. He was the thing that kept us grounded. I just suddenly made these nicknames for everyone and we just stuck. But there was loads of memories I have of like you and Jacob being so excitable. When you and Jacob are together, it'd be like two teenagers just like buzzing about stuff. And I'd just be on headphones like trying to do the drums quickly and like just like hearing like you guys like bring the world to rights like behind me. And then occasionally be like, all right, guys, we have to do this next. Come on, come on. So that's sort of how I got the shock out of that. I'm not that mean.
No, you're not
Um,
mean at all. You like it's needed because otherwise we wouldn't get anything done. Like
um,
yeah, so there's the song Dolphins, which is on the record. Um and I feel like there's some songs and ideas that kind of stay in my head for a really long time and they refuse to go away until I write a song about them. The same thing applied to that song Groundskeeper because I was kind of obsessed with the idea of being a groundskeeper for probably like 3 or 4 years and it would not go. So I kind of eventually had to get out of my system. But with dolphins, I'd kind of like I'd seen like dolphins when I'd been on holiday and I had this kind of I had this really emotional reaction to seeing them that was quite like visceral and magical. And it kind of it kind of just felt like about the joy of kind of being alive, basically. For me of seeing dolphins and like that kind of freedom of um kind of finding hope and joy in living, which I feel like it is like a real thematic key part of the record that's explored across the whole thing. I mean, even like the heart thing that's in so many of the lyrics on the record. I was just after like the last Let's Eat Grandma record that was like quite a lot about grief and like I guess in that sense kind of about death. This kind of record feels like it's a lot about like deciding to live and about like finding making the decision to live. I also had like a heart like I was really into running over making this record. I still am, but like really intensely. And I realized that I just always had my little heart rate monitor that was on all the time. And I'd always be looking at it all the time. And I feel like that kind of came into the record as well, like this kind of
mm,
feeling of just being able to feel my heart beating. Um, and I feel like that's even like that with the drums on the record. Like there's so many drums, it just feels like this constant pulse of kind of like vitality and drive that runs through the whole thing. Yeah.
definitely. It's interesting. So with the song Dolphins, like I'd say up until that point of the record, like the songs we did were quite bombastic. I think the song we did before Dolphins was probably Quicksand Heart, where that's probably got the most like bombastic drums of the record in a way.
Mm.
And I remember you played me Dolphins, and it was probably like I guess in terms of like sonic quality, like the sort of roughest of the demos, like you just kind of had a little idea, but it broke me. Like it was truthfully like I'll never forget that moment of when you played me the demo of Dolphins, and it was just like one of the most stunning songs I'd ever heard. And like, and we were like, we can't do this now. We have to approach this right. Like, and I remember feeling like I was like a special agent, and I was like calling Jacob, being like, "You need to get to London tomorrow. We need to record this song. It's the most beautiful song I've ever heard. Get on a train now." Like, I just felt like this urge, and it was like that song kind of like changed the way we made the rest of the record because
Mhm.
I feel like that song also allowed you to trust me and Jacob in a specific way because that was you showing it in like the most raw form and us working it out what the song should be. And then on like the flip side as a producer, that was me being like, oh, actually, this doesn't need any big bombastic things. This needs to just live. And all of the stuff that we were doing on the other songs of making it short and punchy and aggressive, like we're going to do the opposite on this one and
Mhm.
really let it sink. And I think that like, yeah, for me, that song kind of changed the whole scope of the rest of the record. And then I think calling us all those nicknames of Dolphin, like it kind of all revolved around like that song happening, really.
I think you're completely right. It feels like a real key center point of the record thematically as well. Uh,
Yeah.
it kind of like, yeah, I don't even know what else to say, to be honest. That was very nice,
No,
Steph.
from
Yeah.
that.
It
But
was
yeah,
it was
it's
really
like,
moving showing you that song because like I think it
yeah,
was in such a rough state demo wise. Like I literally was just like triggering the chords off like this setting on Logic.
yeah.
I think to be honest, as I do frequently, I think I was really emotional after showing you the song. I think I had to go home. I say home, I went
We
back
did
to
well,
the lodge.
no, I think well, actually, we called it. Like
Mm.
my memory, if it's okay of saying, is we both cried on the sofa, and I was like, let's go home. Let's all order a curry, and tomorrow let's like record this song when we've like lived with our emotions around it.
Mm.
Because it was just so stunning, and the other songs hint on those emotions, but because they have this big pop energy around them, it's kind of like that Robin thing. You can feel super emotive, but you can also feel super hyped up. Whereas this one, we were like, let's just go full into
Mm.
it. That I think I was like, we both just need a minute. Let's let this song sink in, and then we came into the day recording it just like really, really like excited, and yeah, it was like magical.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like there's like a lot of like emotion when we're in the studio. Like no
Mm,
matter what a lot of the time it's excitement, but I feel like
definitely.
I feel like when I'm with you, I'm free to express myself to the max, which is like feels extremely necessary on a record that is so like not emotional as in sad, but it's just quite an emotionally intense record.
Mm,
Um, even the song Quicksand Heart is about that really.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah.
Well, I think the role of a producer is just to make sure that those emotions are feel respected and heard and also elevated within the music.
Hmm.
So like I truly I don't think this record would have happened if you didn't feel safe to have those emotions in the studio.
Mm.
Um, just because the, most records rely on it, but I think specifically this record really relied on the feelings behind all of those songs.
Mm.
And that would inform everything else we did.
I don't know what to add to that. Mic drop. Yeah, coming out of Leg for the first time and making a solo record was obviously quite daunting in some ways. Um, I think that some of the writing process was actually quite difficult emotionally because you're kind of on your own for long periods of time. Like I wrote like nearly all of the record in this room on my own, and that meant that kind of like the kind of like encouragement from Steph and from Tim and also from Rosa, who would be in the studio a lot and also listens to all my demos, was I felt like I needed quite a lot of encouragement, to be honest, because it's just like at times feeling like just not having that much confidence and trying to find my own voice as without someone else there um to kind of lean on and in in the writing sense. Um I think like we had a really the atmosphere in the studio really helped because I mean, as I say, most of the time when we were recording, it obviously would always be us two, but then a lot of the time Jacob was there, like most of the time, and then Rose was there a lot of the time as well. And Rose would just come in and like Rose was like so encouraging of me in general, like really
Yeah.
like super supportive. Like she always she's been so supportive of me for this record, like um throughout the whole thing really. Like when I was having breakdowns while writing, or like when I sent her my demos, or in the studio as well. And that kind of support from somebody obviously means a lot to me. I feel like Rose has also like made her solo record as well, and I think that we've kind of been able to support each other through that process quite a lot. Um, yeah, sorry, a bit of a ramble.
It's beautiful. Just to add, um, watching you and Rosa support each other in the studio is something like I've never seen before. And like your real bond and it goes beyond friendship, really is like is just is really stunning to watch, like how much you elevate each other and how like it felt like at any point in the room there was just like we were all cheerleading each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think really Rosa brought a lot of that energy, like by cheerleading you first, and then that kind of get like brought everyone up to do that. Like I have so many memories of just all of us in a different corner of the room dancing, or like when we're doing the gang vocals, singing at each other, and
Mm-hmm.
like I think that would have never happened if Rosa hadn't started that.
Yeah, definitely. Rose is like she has like a real she has like a real infectious energy and sense of humor as well.
Mm.
In any given situation, she just like lifts it. Um, yeah, I feel like it's so funny because we're being like so like positive and uplifting, but that is honestly just like I think how we are as a group and how we like to be. Um, I think I think it's just also we were saying before as well, like in the process of making the record, you have to trust and allow the people that you're with to do what they do best. Like if we got in the studio and like I was like somehow trying to micromanage Steph's like production when she's obviously an incredible producer and not trusting her to like do what she does best on my songs would just be it would just be a disaster, I think. You have
Mm.
to like sometimes just sit back with your hot chocolate and let Steph try new ideas and do what she does best.
Yeah,
Um
which we had a lot of hot chocolates.
yeah, we had a lot of hot chocolate.
I think that record is fueled by hot chocolates and ice cream.
It's like quite E numbers. Like
Say that again?
it's quite E numbers. Like
Yeah.
of like I'm not the E there aren't E numbers in I don't know anything about E numbers. But in the ice cream probably.
Before I was a producer, I started off as an engineer. I get to record loads of great records and work for all these big name producers, and it was a great learning experience. Um, but truthfully, one thing I learned, a lot of times those producers would be male and the artist would be female, um, would be just like not saying it's gendered, but it'd be more of an ego thing, but it would be the producer not listening to the artist and the artist not feeling heard. And I'd just see it across the board. Um, and it'd be like the producer having the big ego and the artist not getting. I just see so many moments the artist not really getting to say what they wanted or feeling shadowed and things like that. So when I kind of made the jump to a producer, that was what I always stood for, was that I'm going to do whatever I can to make the shyest of the artists feel still heard and the center of attention. Because at the end of the day, this is the Jenny on Holiday record. It's not the Steph Marziano record. Um, and I became a producer not to be the artist, to just be the supporting cast, really. So I think for me, that was the main thing. And like, whether or not that's gendered or whatever, like, the most important thing was letting go of my ego as much as possible so the artist can be in front.
Hmm.
And everything I do supports that in the studio. So environment wise, it's even little things of Jenny joked about hot chocolate, but I've got like a really fancy hot chocolate machine and I spend like 20 minutes every morning making like chai lattes and raw cacao hot chocolates for everyone. And it's like a real ritual of the day. And like we start the day by gossiping and drinking hot chocolate. Like, um, and then in the evening we go for ice cream, effectively a lot of sugar. But and it's just like I've got slippers in the studio and just little things that are like, all right, this should feel like home and this should feel like the place that you'd want to make a record in, not the sterile environment of loads of people going like this now, saying, okay, record the next part. Um, and I think for this record, that just it really like kind of led into that of it's quite emotive moments where it was a lot of me and Jenny just like in slippers, talking on the like sitting on the sofa and talking about what the songs meant. Equally, it was just us jumping up and down, being so excited about the songs and needed an environment that you could have both in.
Hmm. Yeah, defo. I think that too. I also think as well, like you really let me try out some ideas where at first you probably were thinking, what on earth is she doing? And I think that's also about like when we're talking about egos as well, like kind of like having that trust in each other to sort of like try new things. And I feel like I've learned a lot from you um about like make like about how to bring out the best in the songs and like what you have to do sometimes to like be concise and and make things slap.
Absolutely slaps. Um, I mean, I definitely learned so much from you, Jenny, because um, what's the song? Is it Do You Still Believe in Me? With so Jenny had made the world's craziest guitar solo I've ever heard. It was like it was wild. And in the music theory sense, there were wrong notes. And like the sort of like the down the line music producer who would only use like the basic chords of me would be like, well, that's not in the key. We shouldn't use that. And Jenny would be like, no, no, trust me. This is what makes this magic is that you think it's this person playing the wrong note, but then they swing it around and they do this really cool thing. And I like for the first 5 minutes, I was like, I really don't know. And now, honestly, that solo is like one of my favorite moments on the record because it's so cool. And when it finally lands, it's like one of the biggest euphoria feelings I've ever felt in music. So like that was such a great moment for me to be like, oh my God, yeah, like Jenny, the artist always had the vision, and it's just me trusting that.
But also when like when we've got to cut like some ridiculous overextended verses and intros and stuff to make the song actually slap. Like I was like, okay, first I was like, oh God, I don't know about this, but I was like, I've got to trust Steph on this. And it always ends up right.
Yeah. I
Making
think like
Jake learn
any,
that solo. So cool.
oh, it was great. Like I think any great collaboration is about trust and friendship, really. And I think you kind of can't have one without the other. And we definitely had both to the max.
Mm. Oh, that's so sweet.
I have a few questions for you, Jenny, some of which are very serious and some of which are not as serious, I guess. Um, so I don't know, I've got it. I wrote them down. This is the most prep I've ever done for anything. Okay. Did the record come out as you imagined it would? And yes or no, kind of explain.
So I would say like when we first started working together, I kind of sent Steph a very short brief on what I thought the record um would end up like, or what I wanted it to be, which is basically just like a like vocal led, like kind of lead vocal style pop record that was like quite bold. Um and I feel like I had this idea of it all being quite like colorful and like vivid from the beginning. Like I feel like, and I think that's in those ways, it's very much like the overall idea I had for the record. But of course, there's only so much you can really visualize before you get into the process, and the other people you work with contribute so much to how something ends up. So there's so many things about it that I could have never predicted. But at the same time, like it feels like it fits the kind of record that I always felt like I
Mm,
wanted it to be, if that makes sense.
I love that. What was the biggest surprise? What was the song that was the biggest surprise of the record for you?
Oh, surprise. Oh, interesting one. Do you mean like it ended up different to how I predicted or
Yeah, or yeah, like I guess one that maybe you didn't expect it to love it as much.
um oh my goodness. I guess like to be honest, like probably dolphins, I think, because of the
Yeah.
fact that I didn't really, I mean, that one was just one that I was like, oh, what on earth I made. Like I didn't
Yeah.
really expect like other people to have like as in like you and Tim and Rosie to have such a strong emotional reaction to it. Also, like the song Groundskeeping that we ended up including,
Mm.
we started recording that long before and I was like, we need to scrap it. Like I don't like it. Not because of anything that you or not
No.
because of what you and Jacob had done, just because I was like, the songwriting isn't strong enough. I don't know how I feel about this. And I kind of like made myself finish it for the purpose of it being a B-side. And again, Tim was like, have you thought about putting it on the record? Um,
Not to drop me and Tim in it here, but I always thought that song was phenomenal, and I had sent so the day that you scrapped it, we had made like an instrumental, and I had privately sent Tim the instrumental, being like, "I think this is amazing," but Jenny wanted scrapped. I'm so sorry, Jenny. I'm telling you the truth now. I was like, I think it's really great. When she's ready, I think this will be an amazing song. And I kind of assumed it wouldn't even happen on the record. It was just like, this is a really great thing or whatever. And then that was Tim being like, just slowly being like, hey, I think we can make this on the record. I think we can make, and like kind of been like, why don't we have it as a B-side? Actually, why isn't it on the record? It was definitely, he thought about it all along.
He plans everything. Like it
Yeah.
is like I came round to it. He was like, just like maybe. And then I was like, again, I was like, oh, is this my idea? Like it could be on the
Yeah.
record. um,
If
how
Tim
about
was
sorry.
an asshole, and which he is not because he's the loveliest man in music, you'd be like, is he gaslighting us? But it's like, it's nicely gaslighting. It's like
Yeah.
supportive gaslighting. Um,
Yeah. I do
um,
you was there like a surprise for you on the record? Like,
I think probably the one I'm most proud of is Quicksand Heart because that was the one that we took our time on. Like I think we just spent 4 days on it, and I think I spent a whole day on just the drums. And I
mhm,
remember like you just and I kept being like sing that chorus again, and I kept just like imagining all of the things follow your vocal, and I had a
mhm.
real clear vision, but like I had to figure out how to get that vision into recording. Um, so I think that one, and whenever I hear it, it bangs. So I'm always
Your
like
production on
really,
that
really
song
proud of that.
is so good.
Oh, but
And
it
I feel
was,
like we hit a point on that song. I do think that's probably like one of the songs I'm most proud of on the record as well. Felt like when we made that, we were like, okay, I think we're making a record now.
yeah, it really like I, c- in the way that Dolphin, we knew what the record was going to be after that. I think it was also Quicksand because it was like, all right, this is how the pop side of the record's going to be,
Mhm.
and like this is like the aim. There was like that song. I think hit so many of the reference points in different ways that we're like, all right, this is it.
Mhm.
This is like the bulk of the record. So yeah, that's for me, that's one of my favorites. And then my final question for you, Jenny, which personally I think is like the most important question of the day to, put myself in it. But the preamble to this is there's a secret club that we've started. Um, and it's a WhatsApp group, and Lisa, you're welcome to be on it, called Ice Cream. And it's about like, at the moment, I think it's like 85 members, and it's all random people in music from all over the world. And all you do is you take a photo of an ice cream and then you give it a pitchfork style rating, like with the number decimal and like a review. It's the geekiest thing ever. And we got super into it, and Tim from Transgressive is obsessed with it to the point where like the label had to ban the WhatsApp group from meetings because he like kept talking about ice cream too much. Um, and so that's kind of part of the reason we'd get so many ice creams at the end of sessions. It was like, well, we have to rate it and put it on the group. So therefore, my question to you, Jenny, is if you had to pick one ice cream flavor that could describe this record, what ice cream flavor would it be? I have mine, but I want to hear yours first.
This is such a difficult question because despite being on that ice cream group chat for so long now, I think my like taste buds don't work properly because like I still can't tell the difference between like an 8.9 and a 5.6 ice cream. Like,
I
but
mean, we do go very intensely into it.
but I will say like I was thinking something that's got like sweetness and softness, but a bit of crunch. So I was feeling like Rocky Roads kind of thing, and also like can be a Rocky Roads making a record sometimes. Can be a
That's
Rocky Road writing
incredible.
those songs. Yeah. I also thought
That's
of another
amazing.
flavor. If there was like a popping candy kind of weird flavor,
Oh, I see
that would be
that.
beautiful.
Like a cotton
Maybe
candy with like the
with like
popping candies in them. Didn't
well,
actually one day in the studio, Jacob brought a bunch of pumpkin candy. I remember we were just like eating them while we were making some of the songs.
maybe that's why I've got the association. What
Yeah,
would
that's the
yours be,
crunch.
Steph?
So I think mine would be Ben and Jerry's cookie dough because it's got like an intense sweetness to it, but also like with the cookie dough, and it's got a crunch from the cookie dough, but also the vanilla addition to it means it can still be an everyday ice cream. Like you could, in the way that this record has loads of sweetness and loads of bang, but like you could listen to it every evening as a hug as well. It's not just for partying. It's like kind of got the extremes and the calm in one.
Love that
Um,
answer. So well thought out. So well thought
well,
out.
all music is relates to ice cream in my mind. To me, this record isn't a cone record. It's a eating it out of the tub record.
Like emotional breakdown. Like
Yeah,
you
like I
just
think this record
you just like
is
had
like,
an awful breakup and you're like, oh God.
yeah, but you're like partying with your friends and you're loving life, but also like you just need to like let it out. You need the tub.